Welcome back, everyone, to the First Team NFL Draft and College Football Podcast. Ryan Robertson, Joe DeLeone here, bringing you all a little bit of insight into the 2024 NFL Draft class. And a part of this exercise, we always try to bring on some of the top prospects in each cycle. And we're fresh off of a fantastic career out of the University of New Hampshire. Started out as a New York guy, which we'll get into a little bit of the background as well. Record setting for New Hampshire. Also went to the Reese's Senior Bowl and had a dominant week down in Mobile, Alabama. He's preparing now for a combine performance coming up here soon in Indianapolis. Joe and I will be on boots on the ground in Indianapolis to watch that event as well. And we are joined by New Hampshire great 2024 running back, NFL draft prospect, Dylan Laube, who some people, pronunciation's been all over the place throughout the draft process. But Dylan, appreciate you for joining the show, man. First and foremost, thank you so much, and appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, man. That was a hell of an intro, so I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, I've gotten some compliments in the past on the intro, so I hope it did justice.
I can't say I'm going to be as nice to you because we played against each other, which I found that I didn't even. I recall playing against you, but like I was for some reason thought there was a little bit of a mix up in our timeline, but it's cool getting to connect. Right. It's cool to, I personally probably did not go against you because I was a long snapper. You were running back. Were you returning kicks, by the way, back then when we faced you guys?
Yeah. My 2019 was my first year returning kicks. So I was a little young boy.
I could probably pull up some tape of you juking me out than me trying to come down and tackle you. I'm sure that's somewhere out there.
Maybe.
Well, Dylan, I really wanted to start you out because we are also, not only is Joe a CAA guy like yourself, we are also all tri-state guys as well because we're New Jersey guys, you from the state of New York. I did a little bit of a deep dive into your high school background, so I want to read some crazy stats for a second, Joe. Ready? So West Hampton Beach High School, he has – these career numbers are crazy. He scored 120 career touchdowns when in high school, 687 carries for 6,495 yards. I'm not a math guy. That's almost 10 yards to carry. 101 touchdowns on the ground, another 64 catches for over 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns. And by the way, 5 more touchdowns off of kick returns as well. Dylan, that high school career, and yet I'm seeing reported here, you had only one scholarship offer. New Hampshire was it for you. So talk to me about that, man. A little bit of the recruiting background. And despite the great things you were able to do, you went a little bit under recruited, obviously, coming out of the state of New York.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys probably know, like, New York is not really a big football state. Maybe besides, like, the city. I would say the city's probably, like, the only kind of place where they kind of get some football, like, recognition there. But on the island, man, there's not much there. It's a very big lacrosse area, so like all the friends that I train with and all the stuff, they're going to Duke, UNC, all those big time schools. So kind of growing up, I was always playing lacrosse and football, and kind of everyone was saying, "Hey, like you're gonna have to probably play lacrosse." And I was like, "No, man, like I want to play football." So once again, having a great career, man. I was expecting maybe a couple offers. But my junior day, I actually got pretty sick with I had Lyme disease, so I couldn't really go to much camps. Wow. So that kind of stopped my whole progress there. And I would say that kind of was a big kind of impact on my whole recruiting process. But once again, when I got healthy again, I went to a couple camps. I went to a couple big time camps like BC, UConn, where they weren't like huge, but they were like a pretty good sized teams, and they just had no love for me whatsoever. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the only camps that only the teams that kind of are interested in me. So UNH was one of those few schools, and on the spot they offered me. So that was kind of my first school there, and I was expecting maybe Stony Brook, my local team, and they didn't even budge. And kind of, I took a couple of visits to UNH, and I love the staff there, the culture there, the team. And I was like, you know what? This is my home. So I committed probably a couple months into the recruiting process, and it's been my home ever since, man. It's been a fun journey so far.
That's so dumb that Stony Brook didn't offer you because, I mean, as you know, in both of our times playing them, they've stunk. They've been bad. They have not really had a lot of it. So let me ask you that, like having that opportunity to play against a program like Stony Brook, like how nice was that for you getting to score points against them?
I loved it so much. I loved playing them. And that was the one game I circled every single year. And I made sure I put a stamp on them every single time. And they know that they messed up. It's fun too because like I trained with a bunch of guys on the team too. So it was just you know what, hey man, sure. So but yeah, every time I came home, because I think I played at Stony Brook's field 3 times in my career. And every time was a huge, big homecoming game for me. So it was definitely a fun time beating their ass a little bit. So it was a good time. I think I'm 3-1 against them because I think they beat me my true freshman year, which I didn't play.
Yeah, they were decent then. They were okay. They beat us too that same season.
They were pretty good, but that was like their last year that they were even decent. So, but enough of them. Enough of that.
Well, Dylan, I will say this is that New Hampshire was certainly very happy that you ended up attending their university because you saw the numbers you put up. I mean, you were a dynamic kick returner during your career at UNH. You were also a great receiving back. You were also a great rusher. I mean, you almost had 3,000 yards rushing on top of the receiving numbers you had of the kick return. Very versatile weapon. Just kind of looking back at your UNH career, just how thankful are you, man, for the fact that they did give you an opportunity and you were able to capitalize on it, obviously?
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. Bet online, where the game starts.
Well, I think that kind of started my true freshman year also because once again, I wanted to play, but they were redshirting me, and that was the first year that you were allowed to play in 4 games. So my old head coach, Mac, he truly believed in special teams. So he was like, hey, the only way you're going on the field is if I could trust you on special teams. So my true freshman year, I played 4 games on special teams. I played kickoff, punt return. I was on the KOR team, but I wasn't the returner then. But once again, I earned my way on special teams. I got the trust there. And then kind of my redshirt freshman year, I was more of a running back, but then they trust me on special teams, so I played kick returner. I was a backup punt returner. I was on the punt team, so I was on 3 out of the 4 teams. And I also played. I was probably more of like a third down back. So once again, that kind of staple of me trusting myself and kind of being on special teams and earning the trust from the coaches, the culture of the team, and all that stuff. It kind of, I would say, made me that versatile player of that special teams guy, that running back, the receiving back, because I had to earn myself and earn my way on the field by other different positions.
Now, it's not often that we see a lot of CAA guys or FCS guys, especially now in like the modern version of FCS football, because a lot of these guys do end up jumping when they get that opportunity to. But when were you starting to feel like you were going to get that opportunity to play at the next level? When did it start to feel really tangible? We kind of talked before we started recording that Central Michigan was a huge game that I think for a lot of non-FCS football fans, you know, that really put you on the map. But was there ever a point before that you felt, you know what, I think I can really do this, and you were starting to get a little bit of NFL love?
Yeah, I think my junior year was when I first became a true FCS All-American, and I kind of got some buzz there, especially around the FCS kind of nation there, where like, hey, like, okay, this kid's pretty good. And I was getting a couple of calls from like agents, marketing guys, and I was like, okay, like maybe they might know something, and they might think, hey, like I'm pretty good. And then that was kind of the start of it, and I kind of gained a little more confidence there. And then this year was definitely the big kind of opening of everything, and I think that Central Michigan game was kind of my start to this whole progress.
Well, Dylan, the first time I remember you was actually the 2022 season, so the junior year that I believe you're talking about, where down the course of that season, I think you guys went like 9-4 that year. You guys had a really good team. And I remember down the stretch, though, you were putting up just like crazy game after crazy game. Like you were stacking them, man, just like running the football.
Game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Fordham was great that year. I mean, they had a really good offense that year. And you guys were just stacking great game after great game. And I remember looking at the Blesto report before the season from a scouting perspective. And you had at that point borderline draftable grades. Like there was some late round, there was some, priority free agent. Like you had some draft buzz at that point. And then you had that Central Michigan game, which I think just obviously, it caught Jim Nagy's attention. Obviously, it caught NFL draft, NFL scouts' attention. Can you talk to me about just the rise you've had during the course of this year and ultimately getting that Senior Bowl opportunity, man, which is huge for a player at your level, obviously.
So before that, though, I think you guys would know too, especially in the CAA, like all of our games are streamed on Flow Sports. So it kind of, to be honest, I'm going to say it sucks because once again, if you're a fan, you can't really watch unless you buy it. And I think every month it's like $50. So it's like pretty expensive to watch one game, right? And it just sucks. So I think once again, my junior year when we got in the playoffs, they're all on ESPN too. So once again, that Fordham game kind of blew me up, and it was pretty cool. There was a play where I was running down the sideline and I did a little high five touchdown, and it was kind of like a whole big thing. But when I got to when I got to Central Michigan, that game was just crazy. It was just a chaotic game, and that was kind of our first real thing of like, hey, like we could be a really good team this year. And that was one of the, especially playing those big teams, like you're expecting to get your ass whooped. So like when we kind of got there, we're like, hey, this team is okay, and we got a chance to win this game. So from the start, we were just flying around. It was a back and forth game, and just the way the game was kind of just flowing. It was just me just in space and just kind of just either catching the ball or running the ball. And it was just a wild game. And then after the game, when Jim and when kind of everyone was just like, hey, just like blowing it up, saying I had a crazy game, all this stuff, I was like, damn, I might have a shot here, guys. Like I might have a shot here. And kind of when I got the invitation, it was actually against URI in the hotel. It was the night before. And I got a phone call from my agent and my dad, who was like a combined call. And they're like, yeah, you just got invited to the Reese's game or the bowl. And I was like, no way. I was like, this is going to be insane. So like, I think it was kind of like so much of like a, what's it called when they're trying to hype you up before like a game. So it was almost like, okay, like this is going to be a fun weekend. And that was just a crazy thing. I was like, there's no way like a small school guy like me is going to get a shot to play in the Reese's game. So when I kind of got that information, I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to the Reese's game. So it was kind of crazy weekend, but yeah, man, it was a hell of a week in Alabama though. It was a hell of a week. So yeah, it was fun, man.
So a little bit of a messier question. And that's awesome that, to hear that story and to hear you getting the phone call and to maybe a little bit unexpected. Was there ever a point, because there's a lot of guys that I talked to at the FCS level and guys that we've actually had on this show that have told us that they'd, like Tucker Kraft is one who's on the Packers that actually told Ryan that he had been approached by some larger FBS programs. Was there ever a point that had happened to you? There was ever a spot where an FBS program reached out and said, we want you to come play for us?
Junior year at the end, it wasn't coaches. It was through agents because I guess they know guys and coaches. So it was almost like a third person thing where like, hey, like a couple of these schools are willing to give you a big chunk of money, man, and like if you want to go, like you have a chance to go big time. So it's a couple ACC schools, MAC schools, and I thought about it. I truly did for like a couple of days, and I was like, man, that money sounds really good. But then it was funny because it was my dad who was like, Dylan, like you're not playing this game for the money. You're playing this game because you truly love the game and you're here to establish yourself as one of the best. And I was like, you know what? Like, if I'm only going for the money, then why am I even playing? So once again, like I was like, I thought about it for like 2 days, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going. I'm staying. And then every coach on my staff was like, thank God. Like they were so relieved. And you know what? It was just it like once again, it was such a quick thought, and I was like, I would have regretted more not knowing what I could have done my last year at UNH than what if at some big time school if I was a rotational back and making some money. But once again, we also thought we were going to win a national championship this year, which we did not. But it was still a fun year. So, but whatever.
Well, I'm curious because it's a great story. Because that's what's getting lost in college football, right? Is like 100%. that feel of family and being a part of something and finishing it out. And you got to play with Max Brosmer, who's now going to Minnesota, and play with the guys that you had been playing with for 5 to 6 years. What was it like? I guess because you mentioned the Mobile week was a great week and it was crazy. But you got to wear the UNH helmets, right, for the last time and to represent. Like, what is that like to be able to be a representative of a school that was home for you for so long?
Well, even at UNH also, like the culture there is always about family. And I feel like once again at these schools now, that culture's gone because you're bringing in so much new guys and transfers. And it's like it's just becoming like a 1-year team. And it's becoming a brand new team every single semester. And at UNH, I mean, since I've been there, we've had maybe 3 transfers, and it was just because like we had to get some guys, and that culture is built from freshman year to every single year possible, and like everyone grows in the same atmosphere, and like you learn together, and you like are in the tough times since day one, and like that culture there is what kind of makes that team so special. And I know for Max, when he left, like it killed him. Like I know for Max, like he called every single coach he wanted to, because like that was his home and that culture there, that was his second family. And I think when he left, he was like, damn, man, that sucks. But he knew that he had to go big time because he wants to play in the NFL. But just wearing that helmet one last time, man, was kind of crazy, man, because like I've been playing with that helmet for over half a decade now, so it was like just kind of just a surreal thing that I kind of like can like represent us one last time on the biggest stage possible. So it was such a cool thing just to kind of show everyone.
So a 2-part question here. First of all, NFL Combine, like we mentioned at the beginning, coming up really soon. We know that you're training and you're preparing. First part of this is, where is that pre-draft process happening? Where are you currently, working on all that stuff as you get ready to rock when you're going to be running and doing all that testing?
In Florida, baby, and the complete opposite of the cold, man.
You're one of those guys.
I'm staying away from the cold, man.
What facility are you at?
X3 in Fort Myers. So
okay, nice,
awesome.
Nice.
Actually, my parents moved down here in 2021, and they've been here since. And actually, the owner of the place hit me up in like 2021. Was, hey, like any shot you want to come train here? If you're ever around in Fort Myers, just come check it out. I'm like, actually, yeah, sure. Like I'll be there this summer. So I've been there since, and it's definitely a place that I call my home too. So it's awesome facility. I love the trainers.
the second part of this, Ryan, before you hop in, can you give us? I always like when we get guys to call their shot a little bit, and we're not going to get enough interviews to get too many guys to call their shot. Your best testing number, what do you think it's going to be out of all the drills? And what do you think the number is going to be?
Listen, I think my shuttle is probably
that makes sense.
It's my best thing. I'm gonna be sub 3. I don't want to go too crazy, but I've been consistently testing like a 3.84. So I've been
okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say 3.9 maybe. So like 3.8.
Come on! Dude. That's your shot. Say 3.7. 3.7. I'm just kidding.
Listen, it's my bench too. I'm super excited. I'm short. I'm strong, man. I might be hitting 25, maybe 30.
Really?
On bench, maybe on 30.
Okay.
I'd say like 25, but 40 I think is my biggest thing too. Now I think they have me projected at like a 4.65 or like a 4 like high fives. And I've been consistently running like a 4.48. So once again, if I'm flying around, I'm hoping for a mid 4.4. But once again, that high 4.4s is kind of my number right now. So
nice.
So I think I'm gonna keep saying that. I think the combine was built for me. Like I think it's gonna be something that I can truly like kind of showcase everything, and it's gonna be a fun week.
Man, I was going to say before Joe's follow-up is that you're down in Florida, Joe's out in California, I'm in New Jersey, and apparently North Jersey's getting 5 to 8 inches of snow tonight. So
quick complaining.
You guys are missing that.
I heard it's going to be crazy. I heard it's going to be insane.
Oh, Dylan, I think the best way to end this, because me and Joe are both going to be out in Indianapolis. We'll be rooting for you, obviously, hoping for a great performance. My question is, and this is kind of a very cliche question that you'll probably be asked a million times in the one-on-one interviews in Indianapolis. I'm sure you got asked a million times down in Mobile. But ultimately, man, you're about to achieve a childhood dream here. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to ask you, what do you bring to the organization? So two-parter to end it here is one, how long has this been a dream of you to be able to play in the NFL? And the second part is, what are you going to bring to a team that does take a chance on you in this draft?
Yeah, so first I'd say since I was 5. So I've been playing since I was 5. Actually, no, that's a lie. Because at 5, I hated the sport. I completely hated the sport. I wanted no part of the game. I was miserable. I would say at 6 and 7, when I became a running back, was when I was like, you know what? I actually love this game. And it was kind of like when I was growing up, I was like, I want to be in the NFL. So that was probably I would say around 7. And then the second part to the question was, I think everyone kind of says versatility is so important in the NFL. And I think I'm, once again, in this draft class, I'm the most versatile player in the class. So once again, I do bring that running back, receiver aspect, special teams from a returner to both a returner, a punt returner, and a kick returner, special teams guy as a jammer, gunner. I kind of bring everything to him the table, and once again, just kind of being able to be reliable on the field is so important now. And once again, just me being that versatile guy is so crucial. So once again, I think that's my biggest key to every single team.
I just want to personally thank you, Dylan, because you have finally brought.
He's amazing.
You have finally brought a good CAA team to join the podcast today.
Oh, shut up.
Rhode Island. And fortunately,
shut up.
New Hampshire joined the show today, baby.
I lost to them this year, man. I mean, I can't say anything right now.
See, Dylan's humble. Dylan's humble, and you're being a dick over here, Ryan.
Yes.
Well,
you're trying to cause a stir. We just had a great conversation. Come on, Ryan.
It was a great conversation. It was a great conversation.
Man. It can't be like this, man. Come on.
Dylan,
I hope we do run into you, though, Dylan.
Yeah, if I see you guys, man, I'll say hi. 100%.
Sure. Man. Appreciate it, brother. Dylan Laube, star running back, New Hampshire 2024 NFL Draft prospect, first team, signing off.